Hello there, it's Amy from Buttercake, and in this video I'm going to show you how I decorated this bright, summery, vintage style sheet cake. It was a lot of fun. Let's get started. So I already have my cake baked. I just did a 9x13 sheet, cut it in half, and then slightly leveled it out. Gave those a little bit of simple syrup soak. And then I took some of my Swiss meringue buttercream and I just swirled Biscoff into it, which was so delightful. I've mixed it in fully before, but I like the swirl because you get more pockets of the Biscoff. So yummy. Just took my offset spatula and leveled that out as much as possible. Put the second half of the sheet cake on and gave it a little light smoosh just to even it out. And then I'm going on with just some plain vanilla buttercream to do my creme coat. Getting it as thin on top as possible and then pretty thin on the sides as well, but filling in all those gaps. Sometimes I do a creme coat, sometimes I don't, but I especially like to do them on any type of cake with squared edges because it just helps give a better base so that you can even up your edges and get them more squared off later on. That's looking pretty good. It's going to go into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes to firm up. And here I have this really bright, summery yellow buttercream going on with the second coat. It has warmed up so much here in PA, and we've been having weather in the 70s and 80s, and I go outside almost every day with my toddler, and I'm just loving all of the colors of summer. So I thought something, with bright yellows and pinks and oranges would be really, really pretty. Going on the corners here, you can see how I kind of pile it up and then smooth it down a little bit. I'm just building up extra on the top corners to make sure that I have enough buttercream there so when I go to smooth it out with my scraper, it doesn't pull those corners down. This is going to help give you sharper edges. There I am with my spackling knife, 12-inch spackling blade, which is perfect for taller cakes. And this part takes me a while, I'll be honest. I do a lot of smoothing and going back with more buttercream to fill in any gaps and just really taking my time getting down eye level with the cake to make sure that my sides are straight up and down and that all of my edges come out really at nice, 90-degree angles. Taking off the top edge here, I'm using very, very light pressure. You don't want to push too hard because it'll push the buttercream and give you little bulges on the edges, and then you have to go back over your sides again, which is a total nightmare. So, plenty of swipes across the top, taking off little bits of buttercream. I don't even know. I probably do this like 30 times. I know it's quite a process. It seems tedious, but I actually do enjoy this part, believe it or not. I enjoy this as much as the piping because I feel like it is so satisfying when you look at it and you have straight edges and sharp corners. So nice. Just going over this until I get it as smooth as possible. You can see some little pockets still on the top. So there I just keep going. Just keep going until I get it to where I want it. And it was at this point that I also realized that it just looks like a giant slab of butter. And when my boyfriend got home and he saw it, he had a good laugh. We both had a good laugh. That, I just made a block of butter. Butter as cake. How funny. Anyways, that goes into the fridge to chill so I have a nice base. Here I have my bright orange with a tip 104 to create some swags. I didn't measure these out or mark to where they're going to go. I basically eyeballed them. So on the longer sides, I did 3 swags, and on the shorter sides, I did 2. I'm angling the thinner end of the tip slightly outwards so that it's not right up against the cake. Makes it a little bit more dynamic. And just doing my best. This is real time, so you can see I kind of take my time to get them as even as I possibly can. Of course, it's not always perfect, but that's the beauty of all those little details, is it kind of covers up any little imperfections. That's what I really love about these vintage style cakes. There, I had a little air bubble, no biggie, because I end up going back and adding a second layer to these swags, which you will see here. Just angling that tip out slightly higher so you get a little bit more texture. But I really like the way that looks. I think it's quite nice. And it's a probably medium difficulty level piping technique. Going in here with that bright base yellow and a round number 3 tip to do some drop borders. I tried to line it up right on the edge there. As you can see, if you make any mistakes, you can always go back and fix them. Decided to do 3 strings here at each swag just to create more detail. And my buttercream had extra air in it on this batch, so my drop borders aren't as smooth as I would like them. It's a little bit more difficult in the summer when your temperatures are warmer and your humidity is higher. Working with Swiss meringue buttercream, I just feel like I get a lot more air in it, unfortunately. But that's okay. Again, there's going to be so many details on this cake. Finished those up, and then here I'm taking a leaf 352 with that bright orange and just creating a little ruffle. I separated it from the cake a little bit because I planned on adding a second border there, as you can see, in this hot pink color. Oh, I love the way that color turned out. So gorgeous, but pink is my favorite color. So just piping some nice shells to fill in that gap between the ruffle and the bottom edge of the cake. Second time here, that is real time. Piping that pretty quickly and then going back and filling in. I really love those bright poppy colors. And then I made this really nice sort of seafoam green, which is just gorgeous. And went in with a reverse shell border. So triple border on the bottom. You can see a little hole in my bag there. Oh, that hole drove me nuts. But I am stubborn and did not change my bag out. Once I sit down at my table with all of my supplies, I don't like to get back up. So I just dealt with buttercream on my hand. Oh, goodness. On the top here, going in with just orange shell borders. These aren't as tall. I made them a little bit shorter and wider on top, just to change it up a little bit from the bottom, going the whole way around that top edge, right out to the edge. And then I decided to do another reverse shell. I just love the way large shells and small reverse shell borders look next to one another, and they kind of fit into each other very nicely, almost as if they were made for each other. Filling in the whole way around, there you can see the final product, and it really squared up that cake and made it look like a very nice rectangle. Now I went back in and I'm creating some rosette sprays here. I'm using a small star tip with the yellow and the hot pink. Just doing very tiny, delicate rosettes. It's just that nice little circular motion, stopping pressure and breaking away. I didn't fill in all of the gaps because I came back with that fun, summery, oceany green to do little curlicue vines to fill in those gaps. And then I also go back in and take my 352 tip and pipe very small leaves, not too many. I wanted the green to be an accent color, but not too overwhelming. So I only pipe about 3 small leaves per spray. And I do these on all of the swag ends to cover up where they join together. And it may seem like a lot, but the final product, actually, I just fell in love with it. It looked so gorgeous. Beautiful. Going back in with those little vines, acrylic hues. Trying to get some of them to kind of just hang down. And then for the final touches on the top, I did those rosettes in the corners, 2 pink, and then you'll see 1 yellow. Odd numbers always just look more pleasing to the eye in cake decorating. So I try to do things in odd numbers as opposed to even. I used up the last little bit of my yellow buttercream here, getting every little bit I can out of there. And then I did these curly lines between those little clusters of rosettes, kind of creating yet another border and filling in this space on top. Of course, if you did a design like this, you could also write within that border a nice message. It's a perfect canvas for that. Or you could add some more florals if you liked. I left mine open and added some of this bright pink edible glitter that I've been saving forever and waiting for a reason to use it. And this was the perfect reason. I love the little speckled look that it gives. So gorgeous. And that's how it turned out. I hope you all enjoyed watching this. Thank you for hanging out with me. Check out some of my other cake decorating videos. I really love the vintage style. Take care. Bye-bye.